Dear students, in the previous session of this chapter, Continuity and Differentiability, I had given you some information about the logarithms because we should have a little bit knowledge of logarithm to know about the derivative of logarithmic function as well as logarithmic differentiation. Now, in this session, I just want to recall the method to find the derivative of a function. Of course, in first year PUC you have studied about this one, but let me recall before I start the second year portion. Now here, so the topic for this one, for this session is derivatives. Now, always we start with a general function. How do you take the general function? Let y is equal to fx be any function. So here whenever we do the derivation, it should be always in general. Then we will come to the particular function. So I let y equal to x, fx be some function. Now you know that x is an independent variable and y is the dependent variable. So as and when x changes its value, y also changes its value. So what I do now is, I take this result as result 1. Now I increase the value of x by a small quantity. Small quantities usually are denoted by delta x, or you can use this also, both of them are delta only. Either you can write like this or like this. So I increase the value of x by delta x. Then what happens? Because y is depending upon x, the value of y also gets increased by a small quantity, that is delta y. Now y would become y plus delta y, because the original function was y, delta y is the increase. Now on the right hand side, x will be having an increase in its value. Don't write this delta x separately. It is f of x plus delta x. Now take this result as 2. So we had considered a function here. Have increased the value of x by delta x. And therefore, the y also has been increased by delta y. So this is a new statement. Now subtract one from the other, that is, take 2 minus 1, or subtract the relation for 1, the result 1 from the result 2. Automatically y is cancelled and delta y would be on the left hand side. So here don't do the cancellation here because it is f of something. Here you can do the cancellation. Here you can't do that one because it's a function f of something. You cannot directly cancel this one. So here what I have done? It is a difference in the function, whatever function you have considered. Now here we can do simplification. Suppose it's an algebraic function, we can do some simplification, trigonometric, logarithmic, whatever may be that one. So delta y is the increase in the value of y, and this is the difference in the value of x here, the function. Now divide this by delta x, both the sides you divide by delta x. So when you find this one, depending upon the function, you can do some simplification. After the simplification, you divide both the sides by delta x. What does the delta x stand for? It is increase in the value of x. So this one, delta y by delta x, is called as the incrementary ratio. Now you take limit. After doing the simplification, right hand side, after simplification, you divide each term by delta x. Now we take limit as delta x tending to 0. That is why before continuity I had taught you about the limit here, whatever limit you have studied in first PUC, and some extra limits also I had given, because the limit is the basic concept for the study of calculus. Now take limits as delta x tending to 0. Therefore, the left hand side, limit delta x tending to 0 of delta y by delta x is equal to limit delta x tending to 0 of f of x plus delta x minus fx whole thing divided by delta x. So we take limit on both the sides of the result here. Now right hand side, we have simplified the numerator, we have divided each term by delta x. Now we are taking delta x tending to limit as delta x tending to 0. That means that wherever delta x is there, that would be taken as 0. So after taking the limit, if the limit on the right hand side exists, that is what we say, exists. What do you mean by limit exists? It has to be real and finite. Okay, then we say the limit of the function exists. So if the limit on the right hand side exists, then of course we say the function is differentiable. So if the limit on the right hand side exists, then we call that whatever limit we get there, we call that as the derivative. We call that as the derivative, or there is another word, differential coefficient. So derivative of y with respect to x, derivative of y with respect to x. This with respect to, here afterwards I will be writing in short as WRT. Usually we write that one, the YWRT means derivative of y with respect to x, or while asking the question, so differentiate with respect to x, we use that one. So WRT in short we write. So after subtracting, after dividing, after taking the limit, if the limit on the right hand side exists, we call it as the derivative of y with respect to x, and the notation that we use for that one, is dy by dx. Okay. So this is the notation. So when you get the limit of that function which is real and finite, we call it as a derivative, and this is the notation, derivative. What do you mean by derivative in that case? Limit delta x tending to 0 of delta y by delta x, or the same thing whatever I have written there. So this is the meaning of that one. So if you write only this much, we call it as the incrementary ratio. Dy by dx is called as a derivative of y with respect to x. See, this is d by dx of y actually. dy by dx of y, we call dy by dx as the differential operator also. That means y has been differentiated with respect to x. That is the meaning of that one. So this is called as the derivative or the differential coefficient with respect to x. So this is the procedure we adopt to get the derivative of any function. Here I have taken fx, that means that in general I am considering here. Now not only dy by dx, there are some other notations also we use. Sometimes we use f dash x, or it can be written as y. If I taken y, it would be y dash, or you can write it as y1. So superscript, subscript, or f dash x also. All these are different notations for the derivative here. We can use, because in the question paper sometimes it would be given, or this would be given, or that may be given. So be familiar with all of them. Now just now I said that the delta x is always a small quantity. Now generally when we write the formula, that the delta x would be replaced by h, small, even delta x also you can retain it as it is, no problem, but it is given as h according to the NCERT book. Now we follow that one. So here delta x would be, if delta x is replaced by h, where h is also a very small quantity, very small increase in the value of x, we get the formula to find the derivative as f dash x. Just now I gave you the notation, f dash x is equal to limit h tending to 0, because delta x has been replaced by h here. This is f of x plus h. See, delta x I had given, I am writing that as h minus fx, whole thing divided by, in the place of delta x, now I am writing this as x. Now this is the formula here afterwards we will be using to find the derivative of the function. So f dash x equal to limit h tending to 0 of f of x plus h minus fx divided by h. So in general we are considering, when you take a particular function, then we will be knowing how to simplify, how to divide, how to take the limit. So while calculating the limit, we may have to use some of the standard limits. That is why the standard limits have been taught in the earlier sessions. That is, in first year also you have learned some new limits which were not in first PUC. I had given in the before I started continuity. So, exponential function we use the exponential limit, logarithmic function logarithmic limit, algebraic function algebraic limit, and trigonometric function trigonometric limit. So, depending upon the function that we are considering, we will be using the respective standard limits to arrive at the limit of the right hand side. Now, this is the formula we use to get the derivative. When you use this formula and find the derivative, this method of finding the derivative is called as the first principles method. It is called as the first principles method. Okay. So, if somebody asks you to find the derivative using the first principles method, first see whatever may be the function given, take that as fx. Then you find f of x plus h depending upon the function. Then use the formula, write the values here, simplify, divide by h, take the limit as h tending to 0, wherever h is there write it 0, we use the appropriate standard limit to arrive at the limit on the of the right hand side, that becomes the derivative of the given function. So, this method of finding the derivative is called as the first principles method. Now, this process of finding the derivative is called as differentiation. Okay. So, this method to get the derivative is first principles method. Doing all this procedure, now we call it as a differentiation. So, it is the where we calculate the derivative is called as differential calculus. So, calculus there are two parts, you know about that one. Two parts means one is the differential calculus, the other one is the integral calculus. So, at present we are discussing about the derivative of the function which comes under differential calculus. Now, here we have learnt about the derivatives. Now, algebra of derivatives. See here I have taken only one function fx, it is a single term I have taken. But the function may be expressed as the sum of two functions, the difference of two functions, or the product of two functions, or it may be the quotient of two functions, isn't it? Always we cannot have only single term in a function. So, how to find the derivative? How to find the derivative when it is a sum or a difference or a product or a quotient? So, that is known as the algebra of derivatives. That is known as the algebra of derivatives. So, here usually I have taken y equal to fx here. Usually when two functions are there, we generally take them as u and v. Let the u and v be functions of x. So, functions of x means u may be equal to x to the power n, v may be equal to sin x, or u may be e power x, v may be cos x, whatever may be that one. Always consider the general function. Let u and v be functions of x. Always we speak about the general information, then we come to the particular thing. Let u and v be functions of x. Then we want to calculate the derivative of the sum of them. That is, what would be d by dx of u plus v. Suppose u is x power 2, v is sin x. So, x square plus sin x, how do you find the derivative? That is, when the function is expressed as the sum of them, how do you find the derivative? Or it may be with the difference. I am considering both of them together. D by dx of, see earlier I had given dy by dx because there was only one letter y. Here there are two, so d by dx is the differential operator of this particular function which has been expressed either the sum or the difference of the function. So, u plus or minus v. In that case now, this is the formula, du by dx plus or minus dv by dx. What do you mean by that one? First we have added the function, then we have taken the derivative. It is actually equal to the sum of the individual derivative. So, the derivative of the sum is equal to sum of the derivative. The derivative of the difference is equal to the difference of the derivatives in the same order, of course. When you write the difference, you have to take in the same order. So, d by dx of u plus or minus v would be du by dx plus or minus dv by dx. Sometimes we use dash, no, that is I told you y dash is another notation for the derivative. So, if you write like this, u plus or minus v whole dash would be u dash plus or minus v dash. So, if you this note, both of them are correct, same thing only, I am writing in two different ways. If you write a dash like this, same thing, adding the function then taking the derivative is as good as taking the derivative then adding the function or subtracting the function. So, this is the first rule, that is addition and subtraction of the derivative of the sum and difference of the two functions. So, when the functions are added or subtracted, we find the individual derivatives and add them or subtract them. So, the common rule for both the addition and subtraction. Suppose a function is a product of two functions like this, d by dx of uv. Now, this is known as the product rule. See, in the case of the addition subtraction, we just added and subtracted. The same notation, same sign left hand side we have, they would be continued on the right hand side. Whereas product rule is different, do not get confused. It is not the product of the derivatives here. Now, u is known as the first function, v has been taken as the second function. Here order is not important because you know that the product is commutative, u into v is equal to v into u. In whatever, generally we take the first one as first function, second one as the second function. So, d by dx of uv is first function, remember this one, uv means it may be confusing, remember always in this particular way, first function into the derivative of the second, that is u into dv by dx. Keep the first function as it is, differentiate the second function. Suppose I am having x into sin x, let us see. So, keep x as it is, differentiate sin x plus second function v into differentiate the first one, that is du by dx. So, first function into the derivative of the second plus second function into the derivative of the first function. So, this is known as the product rule, or if you use that notation, uv whole dash equal to u into v dash plus v into u dash. This v dash u dash may be confusing. So, always remember like this, first function into the derivative of the second plus second function into derivative of the first. So, if you remember like that, whatever may be u, whatever may be v, you do not get any confusion. Okay. Now, this is known as the product rule, that is when the given function is a product of two functions. The next is, when you discuss about product, what comes next? A quotient. Now, that is known as the quotient rule. We call, sometimes it is called as quotient formula also. Product rule, product formula, quotient rule, quotient formula. Now, here I am considering the quotient of two functions. It is u by v. Of course, v is not 0, that is always considered, otherwise we cannot think about the function at all. Suppose a given function is in the form of a quotient. Here what is u? U means the numerator, v means the denominator. Here be careful, order is important. See, in the product rule, no, in between we had the plus sign, and product, as you know, is commutative. Whichever is taken as first function does not make any difference in getting the answer, whereas here you have to be careful. So, d by dx of u by v is v, v means the denominator into derivative of the numerator, minus we get the numerator u into derivative of the denominator dv by dx, whole thing divided by square of the denominator. Always you remember or by heart it with reference to the numerator denominator, because when you write u and v, that may be little bit confusing. You may commit some mistake here. Remember like this, u is the numerator, v is the denominator. And what does the formula say? V means the denominator. So, the denominator into du by dx means the derivative of the numerator. Denominator into derivative of the numerator minus the numerator into derivative of the denominator, whole thing divided by the square of the denominator. Okay. And many students, they write in this reverse order. They write this first and this afterwards. Numerically it would be same, but the sign would be different. Suppose it is given for a 1 mark question, you don't get that 1 mark, because 1 mark question answer should be perfect. Even sign also should be correct. Therefore, be careful. Start with the new denominator. Denominator into derivative of the numerator minus numerator into derivative of the denominator divided by the square of the denominator. Suppose you use the other notation dash, then it is v into u dash minus u into v dash divided by v square. But better to remember in terms of the numerator and denominator. So, this is known as the quotient rule. Now, sometimes, see, I had considered a general function y equal to fx. Sometimes what happens, the function fx will be multiplied by a constant k into fx, it will be 2 into fx, 2 into sin x, 3 into x to the power 4, or 7 into tan x, or 9 into e to the power x, something like that. The function would be multiplied by a constant, that is d by dx of k into fx. See, we calculate the derivative only for the function. When the function is multiplied by a constant, keep that constant outside and differentiate only the function. See, we come to in the other type of function, we come to the constant function, that is different from this one. Be careful. When the constant is, the function contains only the constant, the derivative becomes 0. I am going to tell in the next session about that. Here, the function is multiplied by a constant, and be careful about this, because many students, they get confused and they don't write the derivative properly. When you have a constant function itself is a constant, then the derivative becomes 0. But when the function is multiplied by a constant, the constant remains the same and we have to differentiate only the function. That is, it becomes k into f dash x, or you can write it as k into f dash x. So, whatever may be the constant, if it is containing the variable, no, you have to apply the product rule. So, this is known as a scalar multiplication. In the product rule, we had both the functions containing the variable, like x into sin x, x into cot x, e power x into tan x. So, both of them are functions of x, whereas here one is a constant, is also multiplication product only, but one is a constant, the other is a function. So, these are the things that are known as the algebra of the derivatives. So, algebra means when the given function is expressed as the sum, difference, product or quotient, or when it is multiplied by a constant. How do you find the derivative of this one, which comes under the topic algebra of the derivatives. So, we know the definition or the method to get the derivative, that is f of x. When you take a general function f of x, f dash x would be limit h tending to 0 of f of x plus h minus fx whole thing divided by h. When as h tends to 0, when you find the limit of the function, if the limit on the right hand side exists, that is called as the derivative or differential coefficient of y with respect to x. So, it is also denoted dy by dx, f dash x, y dash or y1. These are the other notations for the derivative. And after that, we learnt the how to find, suppose the function is sum or difference or product or quotient of two or more functions. So, when I use the word product, no, there can be more terms also, but at present we are considering only 2 terms. There may be 3, there may be 4, there may be any number of terms. But usually in when we have more than 2 terms here, we keep 2 at one time and differentiate the third one. So, we change them in cyclic order. Suppose you are having u into v into w, for example. In that case, suppose the function is given like this, y is equal to u into v into w. In that case, now to get the derivative dy by dx, we will be having like u into v into dw by dx plus keeping 2 at a time, differentiate the third one, change them in the cyclic order, then we will be getting the derivative of that one. So, as the number of terms increase in a product, no, the number of terms on the right hand side derivative will also be more, but generally you are given a product of only 2 terms. So, these are the things which I have recalled in this particular session, because we have to learn whatever has been taught in first PUC to start the study of calculus of the second year PUC portion. In the next session, I am going to give you the standard derivatives which are learnt again in first year PUC. One is algebraic function, the other one is the set of the trigonometric functions. Then in this year's portion, second year portion, 2 more functions you are going to study. One is exponential e power x, the other one is a logarithmic function log x to base it. That is why in the previous session I taught you about the logarithm. Okay, we will meet in the next session. Thank you.